sloped roofs involves identifying the material, drainage, ponding, as well as any defects you might see. One of the more important things we look at when you're looking at low slope roof, especially when we're looking at either single ply or a roof that might have a ballast, is any irregularities. One of the things I look at is first, I try to identify what my type of ballast is. Remember, we want to make sure we have river rock and not gravel. The difference is river rock will be a smooth rock that doesn't have any chars or sharp edges, where a piece of gravel will have a sharp edge. Why was that so important? Is that river rock will rub only against the surface and not scar or abrase it. And if you saw sharp edges, that is absolutely something you want to note. But what's interesting on this roof, we don't just have river rock or normal ballast. As you see behind me, we have actually got concrete pavers. That adds a more stable surface to walk on, but it also adds a higher weight concentration, especially to the outside of the building. Not that that is something as a commercial inspector we're going to be concerned with to the point of engineering. But what we are looking at is just the difference. So one of the more important things when we're talking ballast is making sure it's consistent. So when I looked at this ballast on this portion of the roof and I push a little ballast away, I'm noting that I've got just 1 to 2 layers of rock. So if I found an area that has no rock, river rock, or if I find an area that's got a big mound, then that would be irregular. Something to note. And it's the same when I look at the concrete. That if I see an area that's missing the concrete, that is something to note, or if I see damaged concrete. So we'll take a look at some other things on this roof as we move around. Another element of the roof will be a walking path. The walking path is critical because it gives you a spot that you're not going to abrase the roof. Abrasing the roof from your feet is really something we try to avoid. And that's not just you. That's the maintenance people. That's the people working on all the other systems of the building. And so looking at that on this particular roof, they just used a piece of modified bitumen. So the modified bitumen is not a deficiency. It's actually an important element because it's that walking path that we see going around this entire building. So just because it does not have the ballast does not mean it's an issue. It's actually a great feature. If you're building a report and want to show balance, then actually showing the walking path in the middle of the ballast and describing that will actually be beneficial to your clients. Ballast is so difficult on a roof to identify ponding. And ponding is one of our key elements that we're looking for. You really try to look at how our drainage is coming. And in this particular area that we're at, our drainage is all coming down this way towards the roof drain. And with ballast, we have such a limited view. We can't really see the surface. There's going to be a couple areas that will get a good look at the surface, but for the most part, you're going to be looking at just the signs. Moving a little ballast away to see if you see mud, or you see if you see a damp spot, or to see if you see anything missing. This area here where I've got missing ballast is something I'm going to take note of on my report. But most of this roof, I'm going to say on my report, has got a very limited view because all of this perfect ballast is in our way. But I want to take a look at a spot that might be a good sign for us to benchmark the surface condition. We're creating the inspection report now. And in creating the inspection report, we're looking at the need to repair. We've got 3 different conditions going on. We've got an area here where we've actually got a piece of the foam missing. And this is an area that is going to most likely require attention and repair, as we have a condition that is different than any other condition on this roof. We have an area of the roof where there is some ballast that's displaced and missing. And then we have another area of the roof that is under repair, where the EPDM is completely visible and has no ballast, no foam, or no other protection on it. So when reporting these conditions, think about what is a need for repair and what is under repair and what is an identifier for yourself. So your clients can understand the priorities that they have and the conditions that are present on their roof.